Good afternoon, Fall Shepherd here with my I will call this the Board of Delegates, which I have no idea what we're Board Delegates of, but we're Board Delegates of something real serious. So that's all you guys need to know. So, today's topic is about war, the Geneva Convention, and how we personally feel about laws of war. I'm not really fond of a lot of laws of war, because I think the United States follows them too much, and in turn, our enemies do not follow them at all, and it's pretty nasty. So the question was brought up to us: what's the Geneva Convention? Now, I was asleep during the time that they taught us in the Marine Corps about it, because I can give a shit. But it's basically from World War I. Certain things are illegal. You can't have flamethrowers. You can't use mustard gas. You can't gas anybody. If somebody gives up, you can't shoot them because they are now a prisoner of war, a POW, and you have to give them aid. You have to treat them. So if you shot them in the face or shot them in the leg, not the face, but shot them in the leg or the chest, you have to give them aid. So you would waste your stuff you got. And yeah, I know.
Yeah, give him another bullet.
Yeah, Kevin Jack. You can't do that, Kevin Jack. You cannot do that. You cannot do that.
And you become
For instance, when I was in Fallujah, there was a huge thing with
war criminal.
War criminal. Yeah, fuck that shit. There was a Marine that freaking dusted this freaking this Haji or enemy combatant. Sorry, I prefer fucking is a Haji. Dusted the Haji. So the Haji freaking was playing dead. And he shot him in the face, and of course, I think it was CNN or somebody. They made a big deal about it. Went all the way up. They were going to put him in Leavenworth a long time, but he was acquitted because the guy was shot, and the guy, he was wounded, and he was playing possum. So that you can't do that. So let's rewind it real quick, get everybody's opinion about this, because I kind of want to see where everybody's at with it, because I'm very against the Geneva Convention. War should be. War, unfortunately, is the first thing people go to war from. Today I learned that Guatemala, was it? El Salvador, one of the most weirdest countries of them all. I'm talking freaking weird, man. My brother's from El Salvador. And I just, god dang, man. Anyways, they went to war with Nicaragua over a soccer game. A soccer game. Like, why would you go to war for, I know America go to war for dumbass shit, for oil, but for a soccer game? Like you went like, oh, no, we're riding on these motherfuckers, you know what I mean? And then I don't even know what team they have in El Salvador. Is it Chivas or something? Or what is it? The goat thing, right? That was the goat thing, right? I really don't know. I have no fucking idea what they have in El Salvador, dude. But anyway, so that's just an example of just what people go to war for. It sucks because war should only be used as a
flag swapper,
as an ends, as a last resort. You know what I mean? But I'm a firm believer. You go to war, total fucking war. None of this bullshit where you're holding back. But that's about it. Anybody got anything? The floor is open. Nobody has a goddamn thing about this. One of the most interesting topics, talking about fucking war.
I mean, I've never been deployed yet.
Have you been to El Salvador?
No.
Okay, because that's kind of like a deployment.
I don't think I would have came back.
Have you had pupusas?
Yeah. What is Salvador?
No?
Yeah, the big pupusas.
Dude, Hispanic food does not sit well with me.
Really?
Like, I have to get the most. Like, okay, the other day I was eating carne asada fries while everyone was fucking up burritos and shit. Like, unless it's Del Taco, not even Taco Bell. Taco Bell is too Hispanic.
I don't think you can consider carne asada fries as being like Mexican.
How's that Mexican, bro?
That's as close as I could get to it. That's as close as my belly allows me to get to it.
Yeah, oh God.
You don't like burritos?
Depends on what's in them.
A lot of meat. A lot of creamy meat.
Like, say you go to war with somebody,
and
you can't have flamethrowers, and you can't.
No, you can't.
Okay, but just because whoever you're at war with ain't prepared for your firepower, what the fuck? Like, you got to feel sorry for them?
No,
what's that all about?
Well, it's okay. For instance, I agree with you. When I joined the Marine Corps, my dream was to be a flamethrower.
You're there to win.
Yeah, all I wanted to do was carry a freaking flame. I just wanted to burn people alive. That was my thing, and I never got the chance to do that. So, I did. I burned somebody with diesel, but they were dead, and it didn't really work out. But yeah, it was the dumbest thing ever. Anyways, so. It's not that the Geneva Convention is not there to equalize the battlefield. It's there to make sure, humanity?
Yeah, humanely.
That you're killing your enemy.
How do you
humanely.
fight a war humanely?
And if they survive, you're supposed to give them medical.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Give them a chance.
Shoot you. I'm there to stab you. I'm there to set you on fire. I'm going to fucking kill you.
Well, yeah, that's what makes war. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, the U.S. is awesome because the U.S. always plays that, you know, we were the good guys in World War II, and we weren't. But remember, America fucking firebombed the shit out of Germany, and they burned, in Japan, they firebombed them for, 2 days?
Hey.
They got it so freaking hot that the asphalt mixed to a river, and all the civilians came down with that asphalt. And when it was over, people were stuck to the fucking road, because they were dead, obviously, but they were stuck to the road because we firebombed. The firebomb missions were worse than the atom bomb going off, and I always get really weird when people say, well, we should never drop the bomb. Hell yeah, we should have dropped that fucking bomb. Do it again if I go back in time and see it, because that was a pivotal point. A lot of people forget how savage. What I hate about World War II is you always hear about the army and you hear about what's going on in Europe and Nazis. You know, they want to eat the armpits. You're killing the Germans. You never hear about the horrors that Japan did. You never hear about Building 7U or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. They were doing a bunch of experiments. They were getting the Chinese's, and they were putting freaking the bubonic plague in them, doing all kinds
balloons,
of
plague balloons.
Yeah, they were doing all kinds of shit to them, and no one ever hears about that. Where the Jews were getting exterminated by the Nazis, and then everybody. My favorite meme is D-Day. Not one single Marine there. Yeah, because the Marine Corps was doing it over and over and over again in the island hopping campaign. And and actually more people died at Peleliu, where my grandfather was at, than they died in D-Day. From the numbers, D-Day was 2,000 dead, and the Marine Corps paid 2,500 to 3,000 lives just for a shitty 1 mile island. You look at Okinawa. Okinawa was horrible. It was they had to use the army. So the army attacking the south in Okinawa. And the problem the army did is they weren't. A lot of historians argue that the army wasn't ready for such savage. The Marine Corps had been fighting. The 1st Marine Division has been fighting since freaking Guadalcanal. And that's where they got their bones. They earned everything in Guadalcanal. Yep. My grandfather was there from 41 to 46. Told me all about it. But anyway, so when the Marine Corps and the Army landed in Okinawa, the Army had the responsibility to take care of the South, while the Marine Corps went up north. Well, the Army started getting their ass kicked, and it was getting real bad for the Army. So they sent the 5th Marine, the battalion, or 5th Marine Regiment, 3-5 was one of them. They sent 5th Marines out there to do it. And like you said, when you injure a enemy, you're supposed to provide aid. Marine Corps didn't do that. Marine Corps fucking killed everybody.
Yeah.
That's what they would tell their boots coming in. You don't take prisoners. You fucking shoot the motherfucker. And that's what my grandfather was telling me. They didn't take no prisoners. The only time they took prisoners was they took prisoners at Peleliu, and I think it was 7 Japanese surrendered. It's fucking nuts. Out of a 20,000 man garrison, 7 dudes surrendered. Everybody succumbed to it. They fought to the death. You have to respect that, man. I respect the Japanese a lot. I respect the Taliban a lot. They're a strong enemy, man. They were. But anyway, back to the point is, the savageness. There was a story he told me one time, man. It was in Guadalcanal, and he was a corpsman. And I guess they found some Marines that they got lost or they fell asleep. And they cut their dicks and their balls off, and they put them in their mouths, but they cut their heads off too. So when the Marines found them, they were tied up, without a head and without their genitals, and their genitals were in their mouths. So when they saw that shit, they decided to go ahead and amp up the violence. And the Marine Corps amp up the violence. That's when they said, nope, no more prison. We're coming in, like you said, coming in hard. We're throwing coconuts if we got to throw coconuts. And that's what they did. So that's just Fallujah. Fallujah was savage as shit. The beginning of it was real. We gave 3 days for them to leave the city. Then it popped off. They had 72 hours. We told it, hey, the loudspeakers, get the fuck out. If you're not, you're an enemy combatant. Everything, all targets were deemed hostile. You went in there and just the savagery just went up notch every day. Killed 2 Marines, we're going to come out, we're going even harder. We came harder. We came tanks, we came LAVs, we came with everything we got. Using AT-4 rocket, using grenades, which I got yelled at for using one. Different story. But we did what we had to do, and it was amazing to see just how, as a human being and as a youngster, about 20 years old, I was thinking 20 years old when we went, my savageness, seeing, your friend's dead, it's like somebody turned that notch up, went 2 notches, 3 notches, and it just, by the time you were so desensitized, there were rotten bodies everywhere. There were people we had to burn people. The Marine Corps didn't have mortuary affairs like the Army did, so we didn't have any way to evacuate human remains from the enemy. So what we did, at first we would try to burn them, or get rid of them because it's a sanitary issue. The battlefield, you had dogs were eating freaking dead people, cats were eating dead people, and it was. I remember I was told my staff sergeant fucking burned this guy with Desiel Fuel. I don't know, and I did it. And Desiel Fuel doesn't burn. And I throw it on him, lit it on fire, poof, and the guy was still there. So now I'm eating chow next to this dude that's kind of burnt, not to a crisp, but burned up. It smells like diesel and smells like freaking dead Haji guy. So, like what the fuck, But that's just, it just the savageness, we would play with severed hands. You'd find heads that were already gone, and you'd fuck around. Your humanity ends with it in combat, and that's why I think they tried to have that Geneva Convention. Even though the enemy, look at Vietnam, they tortured the shit out of American Vietnam soldiers and Marines and airmen that were shot down, and sailors. They tortured the shit out of us, and we didn't do anything to them. But then the same note, people say America waterboard and everything like that. But it makes me mad to know that nobody plays by the rules like we do a lot now. America's really big on now. You can't do that. It's time to see the Taliban. You leave the fucking fob, man. See some Afghani fucking doing the man squat, and with a radio with an AK-47, and obviously he's fucking telling people we're leaving the fucking fob. Couldn't shoot him, couldn't shoot at him, couldn't do anything because he wasn't hostile towards us. So that's the rule. That would drive you nuts, there, freaking Jack, Kevin Jack. That'd drive you nuts as fuck, dude. But that's just how it was, man. So I see the point of why would you want to get rid of the Geneva Convention. For me, I would get rid of all war unless it was deemed the last resort. And like I said, a total war, bro. I'm gonna use everything, even if I have to use the nuclear option. I'm gonna consider it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go to war for anything. I feel like all we do in America, we're always at war. We're always at war with this. We're always at war with that. And what's it do? You're right. You don't even go in there to freaking win. You have this attitude, hey man, let's go in there, show presence, and that was the end of the Obama administration. You show, what the fuck you mean show presence? If I'm gonna show presence, let me do this. Let me go to Kinko's. Let me print out a picture of me, put it on some cardboard, and I'll put it out there, fucking in the middle of Sangin, fucking square. And hey, I'm showing presence. There's an American dude out there, the fuck you mean show presence? So that's my beef with it. I agree with you. That's just how I personally feel about it.
What about all the type of firepower we got here? I don't know what we got, but why do we have to send people over there to do all that? We can fucking flatten them out from miles away. That
goes back to just it's politics, man. Because you're right. When we invaded Iraq, remember that shock and awe bullshit we did? Yeah, they were sending tomahawks. They were hitting strategic points and everything, and then we invaded. But it was just like, you're always going to need grunts in the ground. No matter if you unless you nuke them, because that was the option for mainland Japan, was to nuke Japan, and hopefully, because they didn't have another atomic weapon. That was it. They dropped their load, bro. Like back when I was like 19 years old and I went fucking 5 minutes with some chick. I'm done, bro. I got nothing else, bro. You got about to wait another 35 minutes. You know what I mean? Because they ain't got nothing. Ain't nothing in the tubes. But that's why America dropped those bombs, and it was going to cost way too many lives. Where the Germans, you had the Soviets pushing in, and you had the Americans on the west, and Germany was done, man. After the battle of before the Battle of the Bulge, they were already done. I don't even know why Hitler decided to exhaust those resources he had on the Western Allies when I would have used them on the East. Push back the Soviets. I would have rather able to surrender to American. Because it's always good to surrender to Americans. We feed you. We fucking take care of you. We give you medicine. Mm-hmm. I'd rather be a prisoner of war on the American side. Like, cool, man. I'm from like some shithole country like Gurgurbakalakistan, and I'm trying to get a meal, dog. So just hook it up, So I get that why people. I'd surrender to myself if I ever had to. But that's really just I understand the frustration, man, people get with just the Geneva Convention and just how it seems like none of our enemies follow it. And all this firepower we have, and we don't really utilize it. But at the same note, I'm like, I kind of don't want to go to war anymore. I really want to bring everybody home and isolate America, which people, I'm get crucified for that shit. I just want isolation. Unless you fucking with us, or it's a soccer game like El Salvador, we're going to war. But no, that's it, man. No, there's no reason to take another human being's life. No reason to go through this. No reason to start bombing and starving people and displacing people as refugees. None of that shit. I mean, that's just how I feel about it, man. You got anything, Hernandez?
No.
Yeah, I know it's a very cut and dry issue. Everybody's just that's basically. What about you, Fat David? I know you go to war for the streets, homie.
Hey.
Yeah. Big dog.
There's no law in the streets.
There's no law in the streets, homie.
There's no rules.
There's no rules,
Everything goes.
Fucking
Giving the motherfucker.
Giving dudes
That's
Indian
it.
burns and shit. Yeah, that's it. Hey, freaking Kevin, you got anything else? You got anything else, Martin from the South?
Oh, I'm good.
All right, fuck it. We're rolling to the next topic. Hey, this is the freaking Fall Shepherd, and I am Oot.